Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity, and I also have guest cast FlashFTW, who did a lot of live commentating at the event itself, and I was extremely thankful. He's on board for Tarpman versus Herbmon, which I heard was a pretty solid one. Up right in corner we got Herbmon, bottom right in corner we got Tarpman, starting as the red Zerg. I didn't even mention the color. This is on Metropolis, and say hi to everybody, Flash.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, everybody? It's nice to be casting with Diggity. Is this our first cast together?
I feel like we've done this before, at least once or twice. I can't remember what we did previously.
Say we have way back.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been like 2 years.
Like 5-6 years ago or something.
Well, not that long. I think it was like pre-COVID though, because you've been over to my house. You've smelled the waft of probably my daughter's feces. Saw the disgusting cave that I live in.
I didn't think about that again.
And it's like random slime, and like you saw the little cobble I'm casting from, and you're like, so you probably weren't super impressed when I did the previous Starcon was in the booth. You're like, I know what he's been in previously. This is an upgrade. But yeah, seeing the chair that's got all sorts of milk all over it from like. Yeah, just the slime that's just random viscous oozes everywhere from the. But no, yeah. For people that don't know, I've known Flash for quite a while. Yeah, you joined me for a lot of random UCSD stuff, or circa around UCSD. Yep. You went to UCSD. You participated in the local San Diego scene, is what it came down to. By the way, before I get too, we should talk about the game. It looks like we do have an overpool.
We have an overpool. Yeah.
Both ends. I did want to mention that
I think Tarpman's the 12th pool actually.
Is he? Did I miss that?
Yeah, it's a later pool timing by like about 100 HP.
Oh, you're right. It's funny because this is actually the reverse of what I was going to talk about, which is quite often Herbmon will opt for a 12 pool just because he's one of those guys who's like he's like, I'm just going to throw that in as an optional build. Because most Zerg, for whatever reason, you'll see a lot of 9 pool Zerg, you'll see a lot of 9 hatch Zerg, you'll see a lot of 11 hatch Zerg. For some reason, I don't see as many Zerg go 12 pool. And so he kind of throws that in. For whatever reason, I feel like players end up a little bit more uncomfortable against his heads up play. Let's see if he's going to be able to do the reverse. But also that leads to him kind of doing some creative build orders where he ends up with slight economic edges and will oftentimes end up in an evolution chamber style. And he's one where he's like, okay, if I've got this economic lead and I know that I can press it and keep the Mutalisks that are usually coming out earlier against an overpool or 9 pool, he'll go straight Hydralisk. And that's definitely in his repertoire. I'll be curious if he tries to pull that out here.
Yeah, seeing the drone scout's also something very unique about him. Herbmon does some really crazy stuff, so it's always kind of interesting to see like how he plays and noticing like no gas, for example, right now. So I don't know, he's got tricked up his sleeve, to be honest. You know, this is not a build I would typically see from someone, but it looks like he's actually just going straight 3 hatch. So yeah, I think as you said, he just wants to get an economic lead and push it and go into a spore game. Yeah,
we'll see, because and this is the thing, yeah, that he's got interesting repertoires. I think that's a good way to put it. He's already got some drone along the side getting some damage done. He's going to have to rely heavily on Zerglings in the early game, and usually the strategy of this behind it is he gets a lot of Lings out, he goes ahead and lets his opponent get the faster layer, and then he just tries to economically press as much as possible, kill a lot of drones, and just try to mitigate the Mutalisk count, and then effectively go Hydralisk from there. This is the first time I've seen him do this variation of it, though, where it's just straight 3 hatch and no gas for an extended period of time. So if he is going to go for Zergling Floods, he's going Zergling Floods off no Zergling speed. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, no speed at all. And, you know, actually, it's funny. He's gotten a creep colony, and on the same other side, Tarpman's actually building 2 creep colonies. He's so scared about these Lings flooding out, and so he's actually going really safe, almost overly safe, with double sunken colony.
That was a huge investment on Tarpman's part, but I kind of understand the strategy of it. He knows that there's that hatchery down at the natural expansion. He saw a lot of Zerglings. So he's thinking, I went 12th pool, I've got a couple drone to spare. This puts me economically even, although Herbmon has managed to grab the economic lead with the drone cycle right here. But he's thinking, okay, 2 drones, that will put us even, and it'll be ahead on layer, so it's a wash. But as a result, I don't think he's realized this, but this is more or less completely negated. It could be Tarpman's played against this before, I'm not sure, but nearly completely negated Herbmon's plans, because you can build a lot of Zerglings to crash at this, but those double sunken colonies, as long as you keep things running around, it's a huge issue. In the meantime, Tarpman also dropping an evolution chamber.
Yeah, both players going for Evolution Chamber. Tarpman's very curious to see that he's going Evolution Chamber when he's the one with the tech lead. I mean, his Overlord's in the main. He sees the gas timing, so I feel like he should know he doesn't need this Evolution Chamber. But it could be maybe that he's thinking that he's gonna go some weird Carapace build after this. I mean, there's no creep colonies for any spores, so that's not why he's building it.
I wonder if Tarpman's played Herbmon before and multiple times on the ladder and is just kind of thought out how to counter Herbmon's economic press play. We'll have to see where it comes down to the +1 spines or any other upgrades that are coming off the Evolution Chamber in particular. Because right now, he does not need this Evolution Chamber. Right now, it's just Cruft to block out Zerglings. It could be he just wanted a cheap building out in front to just blockade against the ramp and also provide a little bit of extra reduced surface area for that Sunken Colony to make it even harder to hit. Herbmon on the opposite side also building a lot of stuff preemptively. He's already got a spore up along the corner, and so Herbmon's already thinking, you know what, I'm just sacrificing this early game. I'm not going to have the superior muto count to start, so let's just get all the spores up. We'll work off superior lava and theoretically a superior drone count. But this is turning into a wild ZVZ already, where this is a wrap, and Tarpman reading this pretty well because he's already going for his second extractor as well, and he's starting to drone heavily as well.
Yeah, and immediately actually getting the Carapace upgrade on the Spire before even having any meteors on the field. So that Carapace upgrade is going to be very, very fast for him. And I think that's maybe the angle he's going to take. He's going to say, okay, you might have a slightly better economic advantage. I think the gas is probably going to be still a little bit in Tarpman's favor if you look at the gas counts and what they've spent their gas on so far as well. So he's saying, okay, I'm not going to be able to break you. You're going to have a lot of spore colonies up, but I'm going to have the upgrade advantage for when we do have these massive mutafights. And so by the time we get to, like, I guess mid-game, is there even such a thing as EVZ? He's going to have that economic, that upgrade advantage, and he's going to win those fights.
If I ever saw a ZVZ that was effectively built to go to mid-game, by the way, an Overlord picked off putting Herbmon in the red briefly here. By the way, Herbmon also upgrading level 1 claws on the Zerglings as he's making his tech to lair. The lair is going to this is well behind Tarpman's lair. So lair, theoretically, Tarpman should have a deadlock, particularly with that Carapace upgrade on the Mutalisk count, unless he completely flubs something and just dives into some either the spore colonies or some Scourge. If Tarpman plays this well, theoretically he gets out to the 9 Mutalisks and can micro his way into a pocket around here. The main, looks like we actually have another creep colony actually towards the back. This is a Spire drop from Herbmon, so it doesn't look like, so aside from the +1 claws upgrade, he's going to be behind if it is just a straight up air fight. But Herbmon already cycling out a drone towards the 12 o'clock location. Herbmon has a Zergling waiting for him right there, however. And immediately turning around. Let's see if he can sneak it out in the map otherwise. Zergling's also getting picked off mid-map. We have Herbmon trying to scout out to see if anything else is taken. 3 Zerglings making it out to the 12 o'clock. But the thing is, Herbmon does not have any map control whatsoever. There's 8 Mutalisks on the field. They're going to have that Carapace upgrade. It's going to be very difficult for him to get out of these 2 bases where opposite side Tarpman, he can wipe out some Zerglings here at the 6 o'clock, keep patrol and keep some vision up, which he's got some fantastic vision, by the way, and he might be able to make something happen.
Yeah, Herbmon's in a pretty bad spot, I've got to say, because, his Spire's about to finish, but he's going to be a full upgrade behind already. Carapace is going to be finishing here for Tarpman as Herbmon's is, Spire's just finishing. And the fact that he's got this double Sunkens means that these +1 Lings aren't really going to be able to do much as well. So Tarpman's already got 11 mutas out. Finally, we're going to see the first few come out here from Herbmon. Yes, he has the larva advantage with the extra hatchery, but Tarpman is already sending out, it looks like a drone right now, towards maybe 6 o'clock here. So he's already thinking, okay, I've got a huge mute advantage. I've got all the map control right now. Lings, without even speed, by the way, going down to the 6 o'clock to clear that out. And I'm going to take a third gas. And I'm going to really power it out.
Still no, second gas. It looks like, and he's going to be able to, Tarpman's going to be able to get the 6 o'clock base. He's going to be able to get the additional gas. Herbmon trying to fight this out, but not able. There's just more Zerglings nearby here for Tarpman. Plus, the Mutalisks can provide some additional support should that need be. It looks like the Zerglings are trying to cycle around and make something happen. But also, Tarpman, he's got a full control group of Mutalisks up on Herbmon, and as long as he keeps producing those Mutalisks, eventually he is going to be able to just dive and break these spore colonies. At a certain point, spore colonies simply do not. They just don't do enough, and I'm not wondering if Herbmon's going to have that break point. He's currently flooding out Zerglings, and I think that is out of necessity right this second to just basically try to keep.
Get picked off.
Oh, never mind.
Side right there.
Yeah, he's got to
Yeah,
buy himself
that's-
some time, because otherwise he's donezo. Because as soon as Tarpman bears those Mutalisks on Herbmon's base, unless he has something back there, he's going to get wrecked. 6 o'clock, by the way, might
looks
get
like
forced to cancel, yeah.
Herbmon's gonna take this out because of that +1 attack upgrade, by the way. So those Lings cleared out all of Tarpman's really fast because, again, dude, man, Lings just melt down buildings, especially with the +1. And Herbmon, if he gets sneak that top left base, which the hatchery's finished now, I mean, hey, you know, I think he's behind by a little bit right now, but if this doesn't get scouted and Tarpman can't find it, it might look really good here for Herbmon. He's going to have, again, the larva advantages there. He's already going to Hive. Queen's Nest is built in the back corner of his base. So Tarman's got to kind of look for these angles here. And he even kills the hatchery without a cancel there at the 6 o'clock.
He was able to do that. He also was able to sweep in with the Mutalisk, get some drone hits. So all of a sudden, Herbmon is up 6 workers. He's got top left that he's just hoping that Tarpman doesn't scout. And if he can just keep these aggressions going, it looks like the Mutalisk's going to dive into the main once again. Going to see if they can pick off some gas. There is a 3rd hatchery up, by the way, interior here for Tarpman. It looks like some additional drones got picked off. I think that's going to be it for Herbmon's army, as long as Tarpman, well, never mind, might get away from this. I thought Tarpman was going to have the moving attack to be able to wipe that out. But Tarpman still has a massive air advantage. It's just, can he bring it to bear? Herbmon sending out some more Zerglings out in the field to buy some time. At a certain point, the Hive's now finished, and we have a Greater Spire on the way. And when you start throwing in the Devourers into the mix with the Mutalisks, that is a comeback mechanic, as is if you can manage to get a Defiler Mound down. And Plague works on everything Zerg. 6 o'clock base, a few Zerglings in there once again, but it looks like they do get cleaned up.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Devourers shred through armor, and so this Carapace upgrade is not going to be that effective once those Devourers come out. And by the way, Tarpman does scout that top left base with that 1 Mutalisk right now. A creep colony, a couple creep colonies actually, being emergency thrown down here by Herbmon. And so he's going to be able to ward away these mutas. But the fact of the matter is, once these spores get up, it's going to be pretty difficult for Tarpman to really break through until maybe, honestly, going to Greater Spire himself and maybe getting like a Guardian or 2 to outrange the spores would be a possibility.
Herbmon's done a fantastic job playing from behind and just throwing out massive amounts of distractionary attacks that have kept Tarpman with his massive air fleet occupied, and he's been sitting on a drone deficit for quite some time. He's got the 6 o'clock base up, but he's not been mining there, and effectively by throwing just Zergling attack forces out, by Herbmon taking his mutas and having them go along that right-hand side lane towards the natural expansion, you can see Herbmon's actually camping most of his air fleet there. We got a 2-pronged attack of Mutalisks and Zerglings. Now here at the 6 o'clock base, we've got another grouping of Zerglings mid-map making their way towards the natural. Is Herbmon going to be able to pick off the 6 o'clock base again?
Oh man, he's really trying to. I don't think he's going to be able to. I really thought he was going to commit those mutas a little bit harder to buy himself time with those Zerglings, kind of distract the mutas from Tarpman from hitting the Lings, because the Lings are the ones that are going to kill the hatchery at the end of the day. But I think maybe he thought that it's a possibility he loses all of those Mutalisks of his own there, so that's why he pulled back out, not able to quite do it just yet. But he's kind of had an idea of the win condition, right? If he can stop this 3rd base from coming up here from Tarpman, and his 3rd base just stays alive continuously, man, it's gonna be really hard for Tarpman to compete with him, even though Tarpman does have the Air Force superiority right now, and +2 Carapace is already finished as well for him.
So he's got control of the air until Devourer is in play. Tarpman's adding on his own Queen's Nest somewhere out here. I can only tell that by the bar. But yeah, Tarpman's still sitting back. He's still at a worker deficit, and we already have the Devourers that are starting to morph. The Devourers, by the way, if you're not familiar with the way the Devourer mechanic works, is every time you land one of those corrosive acids, it starts stacking a armored debuff, which makes the Mutalisks hit even harder. So having these 3 Devourers that are also very hefty air units, by the way, 250 health, and I believe a good amount of base armor. They have that 2 base armor to start. Yep. Basically makes them very effective at negating exactly the advantage that Tarpman has, that armor advantage. It looks like some more Scourge making way across field. They've managed to spot the Mutalisk. Now the question is that going to be sufficient? But in the meantime, Herbmon's managed to seek underneath. He's engaging the spore colonies. He's going to be able to wreck those, and that hatchery is already very, very weak. The air fleet is diving in, but we do have the Devourer engaging from the rear.
Yep, here comes a massive fight right now. I don't know if this is a fight that Herbmon can take, even with those Devourers right now. He's bringing the mutas back, letting the Devourers tank, and now those Acid Spores are stacking up right now, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. There's just way too many Mutalisks down here right now for Herbmon to deal with, and he's not even able to get the hatchery. So a huge loss here, losing all of those Devourers, losing all of his Mutalisks. But at the same time, he's still taking a 12 o'clock expansion. And Tarpman is a little bit scared, trapped in his base, can't really get out on the map because he desperately needs to keep that third base alive because, as you know, he knows Herbmon's got that top left. He doesn't know about 12 o'clock, but he knows that if he can't secure third, it's 3 base versus 2 base. Doesn't matter how many mutas you're going to have, Herbmon is going to find a way to come back and get the muta advantage.
So a couple critical things happen. One, we have Tarpman. He's lost his air fleet now. So he's basically down to a full control group of Mutalisks, and that has allowed Herbmon to equalize that. However, Tarpman did cycle up briefly some more drones finally. And so Tarpman has just now added, it looks like Herbmon going for some drone cycles as well. Tarpman now grabbing the bottom left-hand base to try to stay equalized. Herbmon also trying to grab +1 Carapace. In the midst of this, the Zergling is walking up for Tarpman. He's discovered that 12 o'clock base.
Yep, 12 o'clock, but at the same time, as you said, he's taking bottom left to get the 4 bases himself. And now Herbmon is now teching to that all God tier unit, the Defiler in this matchup in mass muta battles. The Defiler is really what completely changes the outcome of fights because that Plague, you know, mutas, they're bunching units. They're air units that want to stay in a really tight space. A Plague hitting all of your mutas, 2 to 3 control groups, that changes the fight instantly. But here we go. Tarman's going to come in here with his muta. He's going to try to get some damage done here, but no, he's going to pull back. He sees the Devourers there camping over those spore colonies, and so he's going to have to pull back, let Herbmon grab this 12 o'clock, and he's just going to have to establish his own. But Herbmon's got a couple links down here. Maybe they got crack upgrade as well and the +1 attack. Maybe they can stop this hatchery from coming up.
Well, we'll see. It's already down to half health. The Mutalisks are going to be very close. So we got 2 weakened hatcheries now for Tarpman as well. So the bottom left is going to be weakened, and the 6 o'clock is going to be weakened. Tarpman has managed to get his own Greater Spire up. He's already morphing 2 Devourers. His supply is basically dead even, as far as it looks like, but Herbmon is up on economy, and I think he's got more hatcheries and better defenses across the board. He's got all sorts of spores top, and he's even got Sentinel colonies top left. So I'm going to be interested to see where Tarpman can attack right this second. So we've effectively got a weird split map situation. We're actually at late game ZVZ. Herbmon just finished Consume, by the way, on the Defiler Mound. Keep in mind, Plague, once it's upgraded, Plague works on literally everything Zerg. It works on buildings, it works on drones, it works on Zerglings, but most in particular, yeah, it's those bunched up Mutalisks where it can really turn the game around.
Yeah, and so we're going to have to see. He's going to be very careful right now. And now, here comes another a fleet of mutas here coming in here from Herbmon. Yeah, I was going to say, those Devourers right there now for Tarpman, because he's got them himself, is a pretty scary air fleet to deal with. And now, Tarpman's going to be the first time that he's going to take initiative of expanding first before Herbmon, grabbing his 5th base here at the 3 o'clock, which is, you know, quite a close base. I would have expected him maybe to take the natural base there at the bottom left, but instead, he's gone for his 3 o'clock, maybe because he knows that he's got a slightly superior air fleet that he can control this kind of space, this airspace between their mains, and that's going to help him kind of establish almost a fronting zone to attack from.
This is also brutal mid-map. Let's see if Herbmon, I don't know why he pushed these units back, but he's got a Defiler burrowed in center location. You had some Mutalisks that were just sitting there. If you actually left it be, he might have been able to do a massive Plague. So he's got Burrow as well, the Defiler kind of hiding mid-map. It looks like Tarpman chasing that army back. He's going to catch an Overlord, but going to have to back off otherwise. Tarpman has to be very careful about where he exposes these units to vision with Defilers and Plague out in the map. I don't even know if he recognizes the Defiler has been upgraded, but if a Plague lands, that could completely shift the course of this battle.
Yep. And actually, the reason why he didn't unburrow there is because Plague wasn't yet done. It just finished right after Tarpman had moved his mutas away. And actually, Tarpman's got an Overlord kind of roaming the middle of the map, I think, group with these mutas. So maybe he could see those burrowed Defilers. But right now, he's going to try to come in here with these Speedlings to try to get on top of this hatchery that is quite damage right now, only 500 HP remaining, but at the same time, he's doing a 2-part attack, attacking at 3 o'clock. Can he snipe this hatchery as well? When the entire air fleet is completely distracted right now at the bottom left-hand base. Yeah, this base is going down. Wonderful moves here from Herbmon, just really being able to be a super pesky nuisance around the map, kind of pulling Tarpman's massive air fleet around. And now he's going back up, bro, the links, and now he's attacking the bottom left again. What play here from Herbmon?
Herbmon is doing a great job of being absolutely everywhere on the map, while wherever Tarpman is moving out, he's filling it in with army and just being, yeah, absolutely everywhere. By the way, we got some Zerglings making the way top left. The natural expansion low ground was grabbed. There might be an opportunity to wipe that out. The Zerglings going a little too far in. They're going to engage Herbmon Zerglings. It looks like a creep colony getting dropped at that location. Tarpman trying to hide a base at the pure 9 o'clock location. He cannot defend it. Herbmon has actually cycled around it, and
the Filer's there! This is gonna be a big play!
Huge
Big
play! It caught everything. Tarpman's entire air fleet was wiped out. The Mutas, however, engaging. Herbmon actually would have been better served if he completely backed out of that fight and just let the plague do its work. Instead, engaging heads up, and he's only going to have 4 Mutas left.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's funny that he only had like 4 or 5 mutas left, but in the end, he still wiped out pretty much the entire army of Tarpman there because all of the mutas were plagued. They're all at 1 HP, and so the glaives just bounced. He just completely wiped out these mutas, but now they're both players have to just kind of sit back and reset their army because both armies were essentially wiped off the map there.
Some more mutas. Herbmon actually having some trouble now. I think he recognizes there was still some plague mutalisks out there and was hoping to get some quick, easy kills. Instead of rallying to the 6 o'clock location, we have a Devourer that was picked off mid-map. Herbmon, picking, some bad fights. Some Zerglings cycling their way down. There's action everywhere. Tarpman is attacking top left. Herbmon trying to find some purchase somewhere. And in the meantime, Tarpman's 9 o'clock base is now online.
Yeah, the hatch is up, he's secured it, and these Lings and these mutas here are going to be able to take out this top left natural base here from Herbmon. So Herbmon's going to go back down to 4 bases. Tarpman is also expanding again to that bottom left natural. It's just so much chaos in the map right now that it's so hard. It's incredible to see this late game ZVZ going on right now. More Lings trying to funnel up here to this top left, but they're going to get taken out because of the defensive Lings here that Herbmon's got himself. But if Tarpman secures this 9 o'clock, I mean, that's a game changer. We don't have a 5th base here from Herbmon right now. He's still sitting on 4 gas.
Herbmon diving into the main in the meantime. There's a lot of stuff he could pick off. If he can just work down that Greater Spire, that would be absolutely huge. Also, a counterattack of Zerglings going cross map. We have a few Zerglings that made it top left, but the Zerglings going bottom left. And the Mutalisks trying to concentrate on their Greater Spire. They actually halt that attack. Looks like they're going to get picked off, but the Zerglings have made it all the way into the main here, bottom left. There's 2 Mutalisks overhead, a single Sunken Colony. It's actually getting fairly well cleaned up. It looks like that hatchery at the lower... Oh, man, he actually picked off the hatchery bottom left. I forgot that it was weakened from earlier, which means it's down. In the meantime, the Mutalisk army of Herbmon's getting chased down. Tarpman has a massive supply lead all of a sudden, but he's way down on hatcheries. The bottom left has been completely cleared out. He's going to have to rebuild that. He does have that 9 o'clock up and running, but he has not grabbed the gas there yet, gas being absolutely critical. But all of a sudden, he's opened up, after those suicide attacks, a 50 supply lead. If he can just attack in one concentrated location, he might be able to swing this around. Herbmon is fielding some Zerglings. Let's see if he goes for the counterattack, the defense.
I think he's gonna have to. He's gonna be forced to go for a counterattack. He has no army. How can he defend right now? And that is exactly as you said. Tarpman is just gonna concentrate all of his units up here into this top left base. Way too many Mutalisks right now for these Spores to defend. He's gonna be able to clean this up. So yes, Herbmon did manage to take down both of those bases down there at the bottom left. But in exchange, Tarpman's gonna clean up this base right here, and that means that Herbmon is really only be mining minerals from one base, that 12 o'clock base. Although he's got a massive bank of 3,000 right now, so he's got something to work off of. But at the same time, we can see that Tarpman has expanded right back down there to that bottom left. He's still got 9 o'clock that he secured as well. And the army, that supply lead, as you said before, is just something that Herbmon is really not able to get. He's not going to be able to compete with it right now.
I'm not sure what the error is here. Does he not have enough larva? It could be the larva are just not getting cycled on hotkeys. He's got the larva. I'm looking for him to spend his money. It looks like the 3 o'clock base was just halted. The 6 o'clock, there were some Zerglings attacking there. That got cleared up. The hatchery's still alive top left, by the way. I'm not sure for how long, because there are some Zerglings staging there waiting. But Tarpman has double the supply of Herbmon right this second.
He's got the Hydras. The Hydras came out of the Nidus. It's going to protect this base, so this base is not going to die just yet. Although we do see Tarpman with a stream of Lings there, roughly around 9 o'clock right now. That's going to probably be enough now to clean up this base. I mean, do they have upgrades? No, they're actually unupgraded Lings, although they have cracks, so they're pretty well upgraded. Oh, a big plague in the center of the map there on a lot of those Mutalisks.
That actually is exactly what Herbmon needed to stay in this match. If he can have the Hydralisks with the plague, take out the Mutalisks in the air, that'll put him in a pretty good scenario. Top left base is now gone, by the way. We do have a base bottom left from Tarpman that's not yet mining, and he's also got that main that he needs to reestablish. Some more Zerglings are going to try to snipe the 6 o'clock location. Some Zerglings have been built on location to potentially defend that. Do we have the Mutalisks are also trailing And it looks like Herbmon, rather than going to the 6 o'clock, is rechecking an empty main and effectively is just gonna, all he's got is sunken colonies. Some Zerglings are going for a counterattack up to the 12 o'clock. There's no Sunkens or Zerglings there to defend. And this is a critical mining base for Herbmon.
Yeah, this is huge. Losing quite a few drones. Going to stop mining here. Herbmon, yes, he's got a bank, but he's not mining right now. He is not mining at all. He's got these drones that are working on these depleted geysers. He desperately needs mining right now, and I don't know how he's going to be able to secure it because of how big this air fleet is from Tarpman. He's 100, oh, well, not 100, but almost double supply right now of Herbmon. So what does he got to do right now in this position to really be able to get back in this game? As you said before, he's got to hit like the god of all plagues and then wipe out this army from Tarpman, and maybe he can come back in this game.
Not just a plague, he needs to plague and then back off with the Mutalisks. Dark Swarm as well!
Oh,
brilliant!
No.
So the Mutalisks, and that's great. The problem with this is, yeah, he can start moving forward a bit, but at a certain point, he's got to hurry, and there's also Zerglings that he's going to have to contend with. The Zerglings starting to chew through that. It looks like some counter Zerglings going bottom left. Tarpman able to defend that with Mutalisks, but a massive army of Hydralisks and Defilers and a few Devourers going here bottom left. Unfortunately, with the Mutalisks above the Hydralisks, well, he can't plague here, and the Zerglings are also going to chew. This is almost like with that Goliath fight, where Hydralisks don't do well against the combination army attack, and here comes that massive air fleet. It needs to sit above the Hydralisk. So there's a Dark Swarm. Plague now dropped on a lot of those Mutalisks, and unfortunately Tarpman's backing off instead of attacking with what he's got. So, and the Hydralisks now hiding under, this is perfect actually, gonna hide under that swarm. If any Zerglings get up into that Dark Swarm though, it's gonna be terrible for Herbmon.
I was gonna say Dark Swarm here doesn't work. He needs some lings or lurkers. That's what he needs right now, is lurkers to be under the swarm. And it's almost like you're playing against Terran, where, you know, Terran tried to use some fire bats to get under the swarm, but you have lurkers, so the lurkers kill the fire bats off. Oh man, so the swarm was good to push away the mutas there, but in the center of the map, man, he had energy for a plague, and he could have hit every single muta there, but instead went for swarm instead. So the mutas, I mean, a lot of them are quite badly damaged from that plague, but not all of them. I would say probably about 2/3 maybe of this air fleet has been plagued. I don't know if it's gonna be enough. I mean, the problem with Herbmon is he just needs some kind of anti-ling measure right now to go with the swarm, and I think that then he'd be able to really push in stronger into these bases where the mutas and the lings from Tarpman can't get on top of his army quite as easily.
I think the secondary problem for Herbmon is, while he's running around attacking, Tarpman has the 6 o'clock, he's got the 9 o'clock, and somehow Tarpman's got to defend that 12 o'clock. A nice plague, and Tarpman and Herbmon's just hurting for resources as well. So as soon as this army's wiped out, even if he wins a bit with this air battle, which it looks like he's not going to, by the way, that's all been cleaned up. Didn't even get the base, so Tarpman's still mining on 3-4 bases if you include his natural expansion, which is looking a bit light, and all Herbmon has is that 12 o'clock, and he's just limping in the minerals right this second.
Yeah, it's looking pretty dire for him right now. Again, there's always a chance, right? Because of how Plague works in this matchup, there's always a chance. Honestly, I think that lurkers will be good right now to defend that base, as we know that basically the mutas aren't really going to come in that well. So the lings are going to be the one that are going to be attacking, which is exactly what Tarpman's doing right now, but without any kind of splash damage. Look how many lings there are, man! It's so many. They're going to get right on top of the hatchery, right on top of the Hydralisks. Now some of the mutas are coming in, but again, they can't get on top because they're all plagued. But, I mean, these lings are trading so efficiently right now, and any trade from Tarpman is good trade because Herbmon can't rebuild that easily.
When you're 3 bases versus 1, all you have to do is, keep sending those suicide attacks, and even if you're only getting a Hydralisk there, a Defiler occasionally, it doesn't matter, because eventually that's resources that Herbmon cannot afford that you can. Tarpman, by the way, backing off, grabbing the 3 o'clock once again. We have a drone that's trying to sneak out top left, and Overlord's been sitting there, though, and spots it.
Yeah, that is something, as soon as Tarpman sees it, I mean, the thing is his mutas, he can't really move his mutas, but he's just rallying lings across the map, and these lings are so effective against these Hydralisks, although they don't have upgrades. That's one thing that I think Tarpman could have gotten this game, is maybe get some carapace upgrades, maybe get some melee upgrades, like how Herbmon did, but now Herbmon's also finally researching that lurker aspect as well, so I think he's finally realizing that maybe lurkers is a way to defend, and then get some plague with Hydras to defend against these mutas. Yeah,
if he can get some lurkers at the 12 o'clock, that will definitely shut down the Zerglings, and then he basically has the toolkit he needs. He's got the Hydralisks, he's got the Defilers with the Plague. It looks like there was a cancellation, that drone trying to scatter away. He's now discovered that 9 o'clock base. There's not a lot that he can do about it. Looks like he was able to force a cancellation at the 3 o'clock base. Maybe he can establish something there. Looks like, he's trying to move in a drone. Some Zerglings are filing in. By the way, the Hydralisk at +1 weapon, +1 carapace. So Herbmon actually So aside from the +3 carapace on the Mutalisks, Herbmon is steadily also increasing his upgrades underneath this. He's got 2 lurkers morphing, so this looks like it's going to try to be an Alamo situation here at the 3 o'clock and potentially the 12 o'clock. There's an if a handful of lurkers get built, and if there are some Hydralisks or something else to defend, maybe that can get done. But unfortunately for Herbmon, the Zerglings cycle in.
And they're going to be able to take out these eggs as well. That lurker is definitely not going to be able to burrow when it pops out. One egg goes down. The second one is going to die as well. And I think... And there's another attack at the 12 o'clock. Lurker's finally getting down there, but the Lings are able to pick off a few of these drones as well. And in the last spore, they're also going down. The Lurker's just out of range of those Lings. And I think that might be the last hurrah there from Herbmon. I think if Herbmon could have maybe secured that 3 o'clock, that he maybe had a foothold in this game, but without securing that base now, I mean... I don't know. It's too difficult for him. He's got no money.
So now Tarpman needs to take those Mutalisks, move them up to bear. There's no spores protecting anymore, and just bring on Overlord if he wants to. Because right now he's sacrificing Zerglings, just donating resources. Zerglings are walking up, seeing the hatchery and dying. That is pinning Herbmon at least in a defensive stance. But I don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe if the Zerglings can get on top of the Hydralisks and the Defiler, that will be something. Just swarms making their way that direction. Devourers potentially moving in. It looks like they got plagued as part of that last attack as well. Let's see if there's a Dark Swarm to at least try to hold this. The problem for Herbmon is he's just trying to defend the measly territory he's got here at the 12 o'clock, and in the meantime, Tarpman's got the 3 o'clock. The 6 o'clock is still mining for him. The 9 o'clock's running, and he's retaken bottom left. Just hasn't saturated it yet. Tarpman has a massive mineral count behind this as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Herbmon is doing a valiant job of trying to stay in this game as long as possible. Now even Guardians are being made here from Tarpman. Guardians to range and siege down these lurkers over here at this 12 o'clock base. I mean, he made... How many Guardians did he make? He made, like, 15 Guardians or something like that. That's crazy. I've never seen that many Guardians in his EVZ. But here we go. Here comes the capital ship of Zerg, the Guardian flying in, raining the acid spores down, and... this base will go down. I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think that is all she wrote. Herbmon went for a small counterattack there at the 3 o'clock location. That's getting cleaned up. And I think that's the entirety of Herbmon's army. He's got 15 drones and plummeting. 12 o'clock's gone. Tarpman's done it. I tell you what, Tarpman at these tournaments just seems to hit definitely above his weight class, I would say, across the board. The previous Starcon definitely went pretty far. I'm trying to remember what round he went out, but man, taking it down here in an absolutely crazy one, 31 minutes ZVZ.
Yeah, I mean that's absurd. I'm extremely happy to have seen this game happen. I didn't catch all of it when I was at the LAN, so watching the whole thing and seeing how it kind of played out is incredible to me. But yeah, Tarpman had an incredible run so far through this tournament.
Anyway, how did you do actually? Because so I actually know how you did. I cast your games. I felt you did pretty well. Again, you gave Artosis a run for his money there in the last match, which I think is all that can be asked for down the line.
Oh yeah, losers. Did you watch my series against Machine already, right?
Yes, watch that as well.
Yeah,
Casted that. That'll be up soon.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I gave Machine a good run in game 2. I think game 1 I kind of flubbed my wall situation there, which was a little bit awkward.
I didn't realize it wasn't a good wall either until you got the Zerglings around.
I saw that. I was like, huh. I thought that was a good wall, but I guess not.
It's the exact same thing.
I had not practiced enough, honestly, on that map and those walls to know exactly where the depots and the racks needed to be put. But I thought it was a 14 CCable position, but I forgot that they actually updated the map pool, whereas Dominator 2.0. Dominator 1.x was a 14 CCable map because Terran had full walls on right side and bottom side spawn. So I fucked up there.
No worries. Anyway,
but I did a decent enough.
You did pretty well
for how I did.
And also, Machine's not exactly a slouch of an opponent.
No, Machine's really good. Machine is actually the very first person who I took who I beat in like a practice match and like a CPO a while ago, where I beat him in one game and I felt like, oh my god, it's like the most proudest win I've ever had.
I've never come close. Machines knocked me out way back in the day of some tournaments I went to, and I ended up with him in like round 1, and it wasn't pretty. You did much better than I did. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for letting me join you.
Yeah, good game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.